Are American people clowns? Well, you see, I used to think America is the greatest country in the world, but now, after recent incidents, the whole thing became questionable. Let's first look at the timeline. As you can see, on 28th of Feb, USA, along with Israel, attacked on Iran, and the mission was named Epic Fury, in which the Supreme Leader of Iran was taken out. Now, why did the USA did that? First and foremost, USA thinks of itself as a big bully who can bully anyone without facing any consequences. Well, guess what? Recently, that delusion was broken into pieces. And now look at the leaders of US. When asked about why they did it, this was their response.
Can you explain to the American people why the United States would need to strike Iran to stop them from getting a nuclear weapon if the United States obliterated their enrichment program last summer?
Well, I'm not going to make any news on Iran today, Caitlin. I'll let the president make those announcements.
The weapons of mass destruction excuse does ring a little hollow when you already bragged about dismantling the system that you are planning on dismantling again. This is mostly just a Caitlin Collins appreciation post because that is the funniest fucking thing.
Now let's look at the real reasons. You see, whenever US is about to invade any country, you have to ask yourself, what does the country have which US can take over or occupy? And here's the answer on your screen. You can pause the video and read it, but long story short, it's the oil in this case right now. But wait, we're not done yet. There's more. You think the second reason looks compelling? Now see the third one. This will blow your minds. And trust me, I myself, being a blockchain dev, used to think, wow, it's great and all, till I realized what's happening.
The war is a distraction from this.
Wait, it's not about their nukes?
No. Iran's central bank counts because their oil and energy is very important, including for China. If you're going to come out with programmable money,
with a revolutionary new payment system,
with digital IDs that are interoperable globally, that controls in each jurisdiction centrally, you can't afford leakage. Iran right now is the big leakage in the system. Now, Larry Fink and BlackRock have said
we need to move very rapidly.
They're planning on trading all stocks and bonds using tokens.
All investments on a tokenized platform.
What it means is this is going to be...
we have one common blockchain.
You know, potentially $100, $200, $300 trillion market. $100, $200, $300 trillion market.
The wars, the Epstein files, the aliens, AI... it's all to keep you from the truth. The power brokers are trying to preserve US dollar dominance at any costs. All the value is converging into precious metals and soon the digital rails. Put your faith in God and he'll handle the rest.
Ignore this last pick if you don't have a spine. Anyways, let's move on to the justification for these actions. Now, I do know and agree that Iran's leader wasn't a saint at all. He was a dictator and not so much good of a person, according to what we find about the atrocities that he committed. You can pause and read it. Long story short, he stopped protests by killing people, made people do assaults and violence towards women, and many more cruel things. But why would you target civilians? Watch this next video, it'll blow your minds.
I just woke up and we're at war, but it's honestly crazy to me that the only way the United States and, that other country I'm not allowed to name knows how to do any kind of warfare is to just bomb schools and children. Why is the first place you bombed an all-girls elementary school, killing 40 of them? And in response, the other country is bombing your military bases. What is the deal with y'all and just murdering children? Oh my God.
And finally, here are the consequences. Watch the next two videos carefully. Shout out to the respective creators.
Well, it's been 48 hours. Now what? Professor Poutine here. Time for Mysteries Histories. Let's just tally up some of the damage over the last 48 hours. The Supreme Leader in Iran is dead. Several American military bases have been struck. Americans have lost 3 F-15s shot down by friendly fire. A British military base has been struck. Countless civilians have been killed. Countless countries have been attacked. American embassies in several countries have been attacked, and civilians have been killed by the Americans guarding those embassies. And the next phase of your master plan is a couple things. Number one, The Iranians have threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz, through which 20% of the world's oil flows. If they do that, price of oil is going to skyrocket around the world. Industries will grind to a halt. It'll be a catastrophe. And the Americans cannot stop them from closing that. Iran controls that strait. Number two, the United States government has now made it very clear what their strategy is. Trump said it in a tweet. He said it in his press conference. Hegseth repeated it. They want regime change. Trump is calling on the Iranian people to rise up and take back their country. A couple things on that, Donald. Number one, the internet has been shut down in Iran since the very first explosions. So the Iranian people can't hear what you're saying. Number two, there is no effective organized resistance in Iran capable of taking down their own government. So if you want the regime to be changed, you're going to have to put American boots on the ground in order to do it. You cannot change a regime by bombing it from the air. Just ask the Germans how well that worked for them against the British in 1940 during the Blitz. The only thing that can overthrow that government is American boots on the ground. But the last several American land campaigns have not been terribly effective at making regime change. Vietnam, 15 years, you couldn't do it. Iraq, 8 years, you couldn't do it. Afghanistan, 20 years, you couldn't do it. And for context, Iran is 3 times the size of Iraq. Iran has mountains, whereas Iraq was flat. Iran has all 4 seasons, and they've got a much better army than Iraq or Afghanistan had. So this is not a good long-term strategy. And Pete Hegseth is not making things any easier when he says all of our allies clutching their pearls and wringing their hands. We're not going to have to abide by these, quote, stupid rules of war, end quote. Well, good for you, Pete, because that's exactly what the American soldiers are going to face. No rules of war if they put their boots in the ground, thanks to you. But again, what do you and Donald Trump care? You're not the ones that have to go and fight this. You're just writing checks and throwing bodies into the fray. The people who actually have to cash those checks, the bodies and blood that have to do it, are American soldiers, civilians in all those countries. And as of now, 150 schoolgirls that just wanted to be in school. Consider yourself updated.
You're wondering just how fucked we are. I'm going to let you in on that here in a second. But my man Ethan does the absolute best job at it. If you guys are trying to stay updated on this war and pay attention to who's winning, how's Iran's doing, and what the actual truth is that the mainstream media is not going to give you, Ethan Levin's over here on Instagram, and he's over on X, hands down the best account to follow. Now I'm going to give you guys a couple updates, and I'm going to let Ian dig in and just show you how fucking good Iran is doing. So right now we got China. Now Chinese aircraft have been reportedly able to enter the Iranian airspace even though there's a no-fly zone. China knows, right? China's off limits. China can fly in and out of Iran, and if we touch one of their fucking planes, China's going to get involved. So China knows. So China has aircrafts going in to Iranian airspace. Now, in case you were wondering how prepared our military is, think about this. Think about the shape that our military was in a year ago versus what they're in now under Pete Hegseth, right? Do you think he's Jesus Christ? Do you think he was able to eradicate all of that rot that was in our military? Our entire military was doing drag queen story hour. Our commanders were wearing around high heels on our military ships, okay? And you think what, Pete Hegseth magically worked a miracle and eradicated all that and then got our soldiers war ready in under like what, 10 months? Come on, guys. Our military is a fucking joke. China knows it, and so does Russia. So, again, our military is getting hit. Our destroyers are getting hit by Iranian drones. Now, Russia's about to get into it, and I'm going to let Ethan take it from here. Check this out.
The Russians have arrived in Iran in a shocking event that has frozen the United States. Days ago, Russian warships and Chinese satellites entered the Persian Gulf to conduct surprise exercises that has frozen the U.S. Navy and all of its assets. Also, the Russians have transferred 4th-generation fighter jets, S-400 and 300 air defenses, and attack helicopters to the Iranians. And also a Russian doomsday plane that will stay in the air in the event of a collapse in society, which is weird. And remember those Chinese satellites? Iran now knows where every American ship, plane, person, and base is in the area, as well as underwater submarines. In the past 48 hours, everything has shifted. Because of this, another American aircraft carrier seen here in the Mediterranean is on its way for backup. Also a crazy number of planes. But they will not be able to use the Diego Garcia Air Force Base as the British said no. Yet again, another huge smash to the U.S. military. Comment thoughts following for updates.
Now let's come back to the topic of the video, why I asked that are American clowns. You see, the drones which Iran are using cost around $50,000. And the missiles which are used to intercept the drones cost greater than equals $1 million. Not only that, more than 10 to 15 missiles are used to intercept one of these drones, and even then, most of them are unsuccessful. Whereas people are homeless, dying without food in USA, and are not able to pay their college loans and mortgages of their houses. But then, once again, who cares? Finally, I won't say anything anymore here, is the last part of the video.
If you take away the Soviet Union and its chief proxy, the PLO, international terrorism would collapse.
If you take out Saddam's regime, I guarantee you that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region. Third nation, by the way, is Libya. Obviously, we'd like to see a regime change, at least I would, in Iran.
Supporting terrorism not only to every part of the Middle East, but to Venezuela.
By the way, what are we doing with Greenland? We got to do something with Greenland.
If you like the research and explanations, please subscribe because upcoming videos are going to blow your mind.